Hi. What is a good game? Can you have a good game even when you're losing? And can you have a bad game even when you're winning? The thing that sparked this thought in my head today was in any game, mostly League of Legends or Dota, you get a lot of idiots. And what I consider to be a really good game is when everyone plays the game and just focuses on the game itself, the gameplay, rather than who did what wrong. And it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. I would still enjoy a game a hell of a lot more if someone did not complain all the fucking time. What happens... Okay, so the last game I was in, I played top lane, and I was doing okay, whereas the rest of my team was not doing that well, and as a result, the bottom lane support was flaming at everyone. And it's just, he kept pointing out every single mistake that anyone made, despite the efforts that went into saving someone's life or whatever. It's every time someone got caught, it was like, well done, you suck, kill yourself, etc., etc. And it's just, it really derails everyone's thoughts. Like, the best thing you can do to these people is to ignore them in the chat. But the fact is that your teammates don't always do this. I do that almost all the time. But this time, because it wasn't really directed at me personally, so it wasn't really affecting me in that sense. But even when it's not directed at you, it does bring down the team morale quite a bit when there's always someone harping on your mistakes. It's like, do you have nothing better to do with your time than to scrutinize every single thing that your teammates do and then call them out on it whenever something goes wrong? So that just puts a whole lot of more pressure on them when they have to please you or aim to... Sure, they want to play better all the time, but it's like having someone breathing down your neck constantly. It's not a fun experience, and it takes the relaxing sort of intuitive aspect of the gameplay from you, because you're constantly being harassed by this person on your team. And there's also the reason why I turn off all chat in League of Legends off all the time. Like, it's off by default. Because what the all chat is for your teammates to shout about your team doing really badly to the enemy team in order to get their sympathies and explain why they themselves are, for some reason, dying or whatever. It's just crying out for the enemy team to feel sympathetic towards you, even though the whole point of the game is for... They couldn't care less if your team is doing badly or not. They just want to win the game. But the fact that you're pointing it out to them makes you look like a fucking ass. And it honestly gets on my nerves more than anything. I can stand players who play badly. I can stand players who make mistakes. I can stand players who perhaps buy the wrong items. I correct them. I point out some of their mistakes. But I try and do it in a friendly fashion, rather than, haha, you made a mistake, you're such a noob, etc., etc. And there's just a right way for doing such things, and it certainly doesn't need the enemy team to be the middleman in your conversation. They don't. I've actually disabled names in the game as well, just to sort of distance myself from all the players and just look at them as characters in the game. So, sure, they're players still. I mean, I know this, but I don't need to make a connection with the enemy team and sort of try and make friends with the enemy when this doesn't change the game. You can't suddenly switch teams all of a sudden to the winning team. That doesn't work at all. It's just, there's nothing more frustrating than a guy who thinks that by somehow telling the enemy that your team is, my teammate is doing really badly, please help, it's not going to make any difference. And also, even if you don't take into account the enemy team, like you don't use the all chat to complain about these things, but it's just always people want to take their complaints out in the open so that they can hear you, that I said this, I was the first to point out how crap this player was. Look at me, I am well above all this shit. I should not be in this team. I'm Elo 2 million and deserve a challenger ranking, even though I'm in silver 4, as are the rest of you. It's just like people who think themselves to be entitled of a rank higher than they actually are, based on whatever fantasy they have in their head. And I actually stopped playing for ranked, for the Elo. For League of Legends has leagues, so whenever you get like divisions and so on, so when you advance you get to the next league, and these are of course silver, platinum and gold and bronze and so on. So I decided to play characters, champions, that I enjoyed playing or felt like playing at the time, because before then I was playing, where this rage stems from is from the fact that people play the game in order to get to diamond, whereas the whole ranking system is more, the Elo is meant to show your rank. Like, this is your skill level, this is the skill level you are at. If you play better, you get to a higher rank. If you play worse, you drop down a rank, and so on and so forth. So by playing better, you get rewards, and so on and so forth. But what most people play League, and I suppose to an extent Dota as well, is for the ranks. I don't really see raging so much in Dota, but maybe that's just me because I play with a 5-stack team rather than on my own. But in any case, in League of Legends, people they aim really high. They want to reach platinum, for the most part anyway. People always talk about platinums, and I'm platinum, and I will be platinum if I win these games. So they aim really, really high, and if they lose a game, it impacts them so much more than if they were to play the game for the sake of playing well, for the sake of improving themselves as a support or a mid laner or a jungler or any such things. So I had this mentality at one point where I was like, okay, I want to get to X rank or league, whatever. So I picked heroes that I could carry with. I picked Tryndamere, I picked Jax, I picked all these champions that have really good dueling potential, who can just jump in and murder anyone, regardless of how badly your team is doing. For the most part, obviously you can't have the enemy team be super fed, otherwise things go all wrong. But to an extent, even if the team is somewhat fed and you yourself have feed, you can turn things around. So I played these champions, and any time there was a loss, I was just so... I wouldn't say... Okay, I'm not going to say I didn't rage at some people. I tried to point out their mistakes, but I'd never take it to the extreme of making them feel bad about it. Usually I call out people who act like dicks themselves when I mean, when they themselves are playing badly and they start acting like dicks and blame other people, that's usually when I rise up and sort of point out that, you're not Mr. Perfect either. So, but I think it held me back a lot. And whenever I lost a game, I just got devastated by this. Because when there were, the stakes were a lot higher, because I was playing for wins, and if I lost, if the whole team lost, I was sort of impacted by everyone's gameplay rather than my own gameplay. So the way I switched things around and tried to sort of get a more positive way of thinking was to pick a champion and say, I'm going to play this champion and I'm going to learn how to play this champion really, really well, and I'm going to excel as him, and then I will see if my rank will increase. And I'm not sure if it's been too successful. I mean, I'm still in silver. I've sort of been going up and down this one division from 3 to 4. So, either way, I just started enjoying the games a lot more, because I didn't have to pay attention to whether or not the game was a win or a loss. I paid attention to how well I did. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? And how could I improve myself? And that just took a load off me. Because even when I was losing, I could say, okay, well, I shut down the enemy jungler completely. I've ganked all these lanes, and we're still losing. I think I did my part. I'm not sure what went wrong. Perhaps we could have had more wards. Okay, I'll buy more wards next time, etc., etc. And I sort of try and haul my weight and pull my weight in for the team, and instead of being angry at the outcome of the game, I can say, okay, well, I lost this game. What can I do better in the next game? Because ultimately, one game takes at least 20 minutes, and at most, let's say, well, sometimes they take hours, but 45-ish minutes. Even that. I'd say 30 minutes is an average. 38 minutes. So, it's not the end of your life if there's a loss. And by acting, if someone makes a tiny mistake and you don't say anything about it, they don't dwell on it. They don't start thinking, okay, mistake in their head. They don't start feeling, okay, shit, everything's gone to shit. I just hate pessimistic people like that, who just, when anything goes wrong, the only thing they can think of is, okay, the world is shit, everything's shit, my team is shit, and this is just complete loss. I had a game where we were winning, and our AD carry was fed up the arse, and every time we lost a team fight because of bad positioning, she was like, GG, I'm gonna go AFK, even though she could murder them all. If we just played together, all it took was one face check, and we'd get wiped out because our AD carry was the one to die first. But if that situation, we won that game in the end, just by me persuading this person to start playing again, instead of crying and moaning in the base about his fucking deaths and whatever else. It's just, people get mad at so stupid things, and I think it's all the fact that I just feel like they're being pampered to. They deserve a win, and they sort of set their expectations too high and their goals too high. So, just aim lower. Just don't try to... If your goal in a game is to win, sure, strive to win. That's fine. But if your goal in a game is to win as... How the fuck do I put this? If you invest on that victory so much, because you can't control your entire team, try and have a goal that's within your control. Say, I'm going to win my lane, for instance. That's a reasonable goal. That's a goal that you can strive towards. Or, I'm going to protect this AD carry with my life. He's not going to have any deaths because of me. Or, if the enemy team has an assassin, what I like to do I usually pick Alistair when I support. What I do is, I look at the enemy team, I see what they have. Okay, so they have a Kha'Zix. He's an assassin. He got fed so hard top lane that there was, the outcome of the game was pretty much settled. But I made it my mission to stop him from getting to my AD carry. I bought the Oracle's trinket just so I could see him. I headbutted him away and I knocked him into the air and I just punched the shit out of him whenever he made a move towards my AD carry. It's just looking at him funny. I was there. I was like a madman with a mission. I had Randuin's Omen. I could just do anything just to stop that one person from killing my AD carry. And it gives him so much space to wipe out the rest of the team because that assassin isn't giving any trouble. It's just change your goals to something that isn't this ultimate goal. It's the same as saying, I want to be famous. Well, okay then. How do you want to be famous? Where do you want to be famous? You gotta scale it down a little bit. I want to win my lane. I want to defeat this red buff. I will steal its buff. And I will use it to kill the enemy team. Slow them down, gank top lane, gank bottom lane, gank every lane, and win the game with this red buff. I will strive to have red buff on all the time. I will have the map warded so that it's a beacon to all the people on Demacia, Noxus, and whatever the hell else. It's just... There was just... Some games just pissed me off. But it's more the people who play, the people who don't play and chat, and talk shit, rather than focusing on the gameplay. If they spent half the time they spent typing on actually playing, there could be some results. But if you stop and chat all the time when something happens, something goes wrong, it's just... takes so much more of your conversation as well as your team's concentration, because you're pulling them into this mess of a conversation where there are no winners, and it just becomes a chat room for your bile and just I hate you. I can't stand it. I can't stand people who just make it all about them and how they should deserve a win and how one person in the team should be reported for one mistake. It's just... whatever. This is a tangent because I just felt like having a tangent, really. This is just thoughts that come to my mind. It came to my mind after a really shit game. Maybe you can pick something from this. Maybe you can have a good game. I enjoy games that I've lost when nobody's said a thing about anyone's mistakes. It's been a struggle to win. It's been a struggle to, lose. But you've still fought tooth and nail. You've given the opposing team some sort of a challenge, rather than just lying down and throwing the towel after the first blood has been drawn. It's some deaths don't make the game. You can still turn it around. You can loop around and gank them at the Baron pit and all sorts of things. There's still opportunity to turn things around, but only if you focus. Only if you stop talking and you start playing. There's my message for you. Right. My name has been Juke. This has been a tangent on League of Legends and Dota and all those stupid games that make you rage so much that you want to pull your eyes out. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.